Hi guys, Scott Woodward with you to preview the Brisbane Broncos for 2013, and what an exciting team they have this year with a massive inclusion. They finally got a halfback in Scott Prince, and we're going to talk a fair bit about him and the impact that I think he'll have on the Brisbane Broncos in 2013. Firstly, last year was a disappointing year from a Broncos point of view, given to what the supporters have been used to in previous years. They're used to not only playing semi-final football, but playing Final Four football, and being in contention for the grand final, of which they've won 6, been in 6 and won 6 under coach Wayne Bennett. Anthony Griffin took over the Broncos, and there was a marked improvement straight away in most levels of the game, both in attack and defence, although there's still a lot of work to do in defence, a lot of work to do in getting his young team to play out 80 minutes. Last year, they played 24 games, 12 wins, 12 losses. Not good enough for the type of list that Anthony Griffin had at his disposal. This time last year, we were all concerned who was going to replace Darryn Lockyer. That was a big question, and Griffin tried out several players, and he put all of his eggs in the Corey Norman basket. And as I say in my work preview that I sent to members, or I will be sending to members, he stuffed up. It was a wrong decision. Not only was young Norman ready to play such a key role as a second receiver, but he just hasn't got the God-given skills. He doesn't read a game well enough, and his short tactical kicking is not good enough, and he tends to be the hero and go one out when he should do an easy cut-out pass and there's a try begging. He let a lot of tries go in 2012 because of that. Consequently, he ended up being dropped. Remains to be seen if coach will give him another crack. I don't think he will, not unless there's some injuries. So look, let's firstly just talk about the list and how I see the Broncos lining up for round 1 and what I think the ramifications will be with some of the ends. One of the other big ends, of course, is the former Parramatta coach Steve Carney and assistant coach at the Storm. He's also the current New Zealand coach, and while he didn't have any luck with Parramatta, make no mistake, Steve Carney is a class act, and I think he is a great addition to the Broncos, particularly with the Polynesian boys, in getting them settled in and getting them focused and dedicated to what they have to do. And I think if he can bring some of the Storm's defence to the Broncos, that will certainly be well served. Okay, let's look at the team the way I see it down. Firstly, fullback Josh Hoffman. I'm prepared to give him some slack on what he did last year. He played with a lot of injuries last year. His stats are really outstanding for a young fullback, and providing he's got rid of the injuries, I can only see him having a very good year. I would like to see him set up his outside men a little bit more, have more try assists than what he's had in the past, and that will come with experience. I think he has the skills to do it, but he certainly reads the game well, and he's got very good speed off the mark. So he certainly deserves to be the starting fullback. He will have a lot of competition. Obviously, Corey Norman will be putting his hand up again if he misses out on the 6th spot. A couple of youngsters that are very promising and play fullback, Joe Bond and Jordan Cahill. Also, Lachlan Maranta will probably be playing on the right wing if Yow Yeh doesn't come back for the first game, but he's also a contender for that fullback spot. So there's a lot of talent available to the Broncos for fullback, but I think Josh Hoffman will be starting and probably should hold it down, as I say, depending on injuries. Dale Copley looks like he keeps on improving, and he deserves to have the left wing spot on the other side. I've got some concerns with him, but he's a big, strong, fast guy, and these are all young guys, and you just have to think that they'll be just 12 months more experienced and 12 months better in 2013. A flying machine, Delroy Berryman, is a guy who will be in contender for that position also. Look, the centres pick themselves. Jack Reed and Justin Hodges are both class acts. Justin Hodges had a very good off-season, the best one he's had for a long while, and we're going to expect a very big season from him. If he doesn't get his injuries, he should be able to hold down his spot in the State of Origin, but he had a poor State of Origin last year. We're going to put it down to injuries because we know he's a class act. He is the most talented and creative player in the Broncos side, and they really need him to fire Justin Hodges. We've talked about Lachlan Marento. We don't know if Yow Yeh will come back. The mail is that he has trained okay, but he did have a second problem with his injury, and he will be rushing to be back for the first or second rounds. But his State of Origin class, I don't know if he'll be ready for State of Origin, big question mark. But he will be a big in, and he was missing last year for the Broncos. They struggled to score tries, particularly in the second half of the season last year, and a lot of that had to do with no Yow Yeh in the lineup. Here's the big contentious spot, the 6 and the 7, which is the big problem that I feel the Broncos made last year. With Scott Prince coming into the side, I can only see Peter Wallace playing 6. That leaves the Broncos with 2 small guys in 6 and 7, but Wallace is quite a good defender from a halfback point of view, and he certainly will be no worse than Corey Norman, that's for sure. And he has more tactical skills than Corey Norman, and he reads play better than Corey Norman. But the guy who will be running the ship will be Scott Prince. Look, let me just point out, the Broncos last year, they finished 3rd in metres gained, so we know they've got a great forward pack. They always have had a great forward pack, and they will have again this year. They made over 1,400 metres in 2012 for every game on average. That's outstanding, finishing 3rd in the NRL. But here's the thing, they only finished 9th for tries, only averaging 3.5 tries a game, which tells you that they can bust the tackles and they can get in a position near the try line, but they can't get over the try line. The reason for that, there's 6 and 7 let them down. The general duties were all on the shoulders of Peter Wallace, and while he's a handy halfback, he just can't handle the #1 organising role, and he will love being second pick here behind Scott Prince, who relishes being the on-field general and is very good at it. And this is where Scott Prince will make a big difference to the Broncos. The Broncos have got the talent to get in a try-scoring position, but Scott Prince will know whether to go right, left. He'll know whether to do a grubber kick, or do a bomb, and he'll make the difference. And he has the skills that they just didn't possess last year. It's a massive thing for the Broncos, and I can't believe the Titans let him go. I understand he's got a little bit of age on him, but the way that he plays, I don't think age is a problem. And he's never been a guy that relies on sheer speed. Having said that, he's not slow, but he's one of the few guys in the NRL who is a genuine organising on-field general, and there's not many of them around, as you'll see as we go through each one of the sides. The Broncos have finally got one, and he's the guy who comes in to replace their former captain and champion, Darryn Lockyer. Be interesting to see how he trials and how he plays in the first game. I'm tipping he'll have a big year. Look, let's talk about the forward pack. Ben Haddad and Josh Maguire, 2 outstanding props, particularly Maguire. I think he's got an outstanding future, and I think they'll be the 2 starting props. Andrew McCullough obviously will be the starting 9. I think he's a wonderful club man, great work rate. I do think he telegraphs his dummy pass a fair bit. It's easy to pick up, and he's also telegraphs his sidestep. Look, I think he's a good solid hooker. I don't think he's any world beater though as a hooker. I think when Ben Hunt comes in, he's a lot more creative, got a lot more speed, and he's a much better tactical kicker, takes pressure off the forwards. I've got a high regard for Ben Hunt, and I would like to see Ben Hunt get more game time at number 9. The rest of the forward pack named themselves: Sam Flyday, Alex Flynn, Corey Parker, 3 outstanding players, rep players, high work rates, got good skills, and they are the heart and soul of this Broncos team. That gives the Broncos a wonderful 13. Off the bench, we've got Matt Gillett again. I thought he was disappointing in Origin last year. Once again, I can only put it down to injuries. We know he's a lot better than that, and I'm expecting him to come back a lot better. Some of the experienced guys that the Broncos have picked up is David Stagg. I'm not quite sure how they're going to use him. He's not an impact guy for mine. He's a guy that plays long minutes, but I can't see him getting a starting spot in this side. Some of the talent that they've got at their disposal that will be trying to get a run during the year is Aaron Whitchurch, Francis Molo, David Harlow, who I have a high regard for. I expect him to get a lot of bench time coming in at prop. Scott Anderson, he's a so-so hooker. The big young gun of the Broncos team, Caleb Timu, looking forward to seeing him in action. He promises to have a big 2012. Liam Georgetown, we saw a bit of him last year. I'm looking to see what progress he's made in the off-season. And they have quite a few other ins, but the guys that have been trialling for the Broncos have been showing good promise. They traditionally start off very good in the early rounds, and I expect them to not only play semi-final football, but I expect them to be a contender for the grand final based on one guy, based on Scott Prince, and the fact that they'll have just a little bit more luck with injuries. Finishing 8th last year, when they finished 3rd in 2011, I think it'll be more back to the 2011 form when they had Darryn Lockyer on board. What more can we say about them that I haven't already said? I think I'd like to touch a little bit about on Justin Hodges. I think the Broncos are likely to have probably 6 or 7 guys in the State of Origin, which is one of the reasons why they just I think they only won about 3 games after State of Origin last year. After they win in the State of Origin in 2nd position, and I think they come out of it only winning 3 of the remaining games of the year and just crawling into 8th position. The State of Origin was a massive problem for them. There's a chance that they may only have 2 guys in the State of Origin this year. I think that will be Hannett and Friday. They'll definitely be in the State of Origin. There's a question mark. There's a lot of pressure on Justin Hodges for his position, and given that he had an ordinary Origin last year, I don't know if they'll try him again. I think they'll certainly start him in game 1 and see how he goes. But if Hodges happens to not get selected, the back line for the Broncos will be untouched from an Origin point of view, and they're only going to be missing 2 forwards. Obviously, guys like I expect Corey Norman to be selected. He made a massive difference to Queensland when he come on in the latest stages of the series. He's got skills, offload ability, and a work rate that not too many lock forwards in the game have got. I can only think of Paul Gallen, who comes close to him. So I'll be surprised if he doesn't get selected, and he certainly will be impossible to select. They haven't got anybody like him in the Broncos team. So a lot is going to depend on the State of Origin. If you like the Broncos and you want to back the Broncos, my advice to you is to wait. I expect them to go very good up until State of Origin time, and then just let's see how they go with injuries after Origin, and just see if they can sustain the fatigue that they went under last year, and they went backwards last year, and by the time semi-finals come, they were a shot duck. So certainly I think they can win the grand final, but let's wait and see how they go, and we'll reassess it during the year. There is, for me, if you're a Bronco fan, I think you've got plenty to look forward to. A very exciting years coming up as far as I'm concerned for the Broncos. Cheers.